Hello, everyone, and welcome to Future Tech Podcast. I'm your host, Juliette Lamar, and joining us today is Tammy Camp. She is the founder and CEO at Stronghold, and she has also recently been named by the Fortune Ledger's 40 Under 40 list of the esteemed leaders in the crypto ecosystem. So she's pretty awesome, and I'm very excited to chat with her. Welcome, Tammy.
Thanks for having me, Juliette. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. So let's just go on the high note here. So when did you find out you were nominated for 40 Under 40, or that you had received this award, and how'd that all come about?
Well, I think it might have been. I think it all happened very fast. So the IBM announcement actually happened at Fortune's Brainstorm Tech in Aspen, and I believe the 40 Under 40 came out a week later. So I think it was perhaps that Thursday. They released it last week on a Monday, and I think on Thursday I was nominated after they had seen the big announcement with IBM. So it was very last minute, and I was very surprised and humbled.
Oh, that's fantastic, and congratulations again. It's such a wonderful feeling to finally get recognized for your achievements and what you've been working so hard to do.
Yes, it does. I've been in this space for a long time, so it is quite nice to actually be recognized, to actually exist in this space. So yes.
All right. Well, then getting into some of the steps that have brought you to where you are today, give us a little background of your work history and really what's brought you to this point, and then we can chat about Stronghold.
Sure. So I've been an entrepreneur since 2002, but when I first came to Silicon Valley in 2011, I attended this think tank called Singularity University, where we lived on NASA Ames for about 3 months, and it was just one after another TED Talk. And one of those lecturers happened to be a famous cryptographer named Ralph Merkle, and he is the inventor of the public-private key pair as we know it today, and he happened to be talking about blockchain and Bitcoin. So that was the first time that I was exposed to cryptocurrencies. And fast forward a couple of years later, in 2013, I started building Litecoin, Dogecoin, and Bitcoin miners out of computer components that I got from down the road at the computer hardware store, and I would program them to mining pools. I did that for several months and was super excited and learned a lot from it. And then in 2014, I was approached by Stellar, and I was just dying to become a professional in the space because, up until that point, I was very much a hobbyist and a overzealous, enthusiast. But, so I jumped at the chance in 2014 to become the first head of growth of Stellar. During that time, we now call them airdrops. We were doing a giveaway. We put 4 million users on the network in 4 weeks. And there was a tremendous amount of support there, and because of that scale, we knew that we had to kind of formulate the infrastructure because we needed it to support all of those users. So when they did the whole rewrite, I went to 500 startups where I was a partner, and I invested in startups there. And I also was the organizer leader of this program called Marketing Hell Week, where it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a crash course in startup marketing. So I did that for a couple of years. I took some time off and then went back into venture, where I helped a new venture firm called NFX Guild raise their $150 million fund. And it was then at that time where I started personally trading and investing in cryptocurrencies, and realized that there was a need for USD payment settlement, and also all these tools that just weren't available that are in traditional capital markets, in a traditional capital markets ecosystem, and where they would be super applicable and blockchain. So that's kind of what we set out to do at Stronghold, is just kind of build a financial institution that is solely built on distributed ledger technology, and just apply those, real world financial products that we're used to every day, but on the blockchain.
No, that's fantastic. And I'm looking at your website here. I really love your tagline. So it's, whether you're just getting started in the world of digital currency or a seasoned trader, Stronghold is all you'll ever need to trade digital currency. And that's just such a heartfelt and personalized kind of mission statement, I feel.
Yeah. I think that now that we're on, again, back on Stellar's distributed ledger technology, it's really a platform that is meant for the world to use. It's to connect people in the long tail that live off of less than $2 a day to Wall Street, which is kind of empowering in a way, very powerful, because on both sides they have access to things that they've never had access to before. So it's pretty exciting.
So now, focusing back in on Stronghold, what's really some of the things that set you apart from other companies, as far as your platform and how to use it and things?
Right. So, things that kind of set us apart is that, again, we're native to a blockchain, a distributed ledger technology. Right now, we're running on Stellar. And I would say that other, places where you trade are not native to a blockchain. They're more centralized, and we're a little more decentralized. And what I mean by that is that we are a part of a greater network, where other financial institutions such as ourselves connect to. And so, as you know, we launched our Stronghold USD a couple of weeks back with along with the endorsement of IBM. We're now connecting to other financial institutions that have fiat currencies on the network. So, Tempo from France, they have euros, and we have other financial institutions that have Filipino pesos and Nigerian naira and Hong Kong dollars and Japanese yen and and so forth. There's like 10 fiat currencies on the network. So what's really powerful from day one is that our users can have access to those fiat currencies. And so that's something that's really different. There's more and more fiat currencies coming on board, as well as cryptocurrencies, as well as traditional securities such as bonds, ETFs, and stocks. So we're really going to be that, platform that allows people to trade not only between cryptocurrencies, but, just fiat to fiat. You could go to, traditional security to fiat. So it's very, very powerful, and that's definitely what sets us apart.
And, what are the steps for people who want us to use Stronghold to start buying and selling currencies? What are the steps that they need to take to get involved?
Right. So it's pretty simple. You just sign up for an account at stronghold.co, and you go through the Know Your Customer KYC setups, which a process that's pretty straightforward, and we verify your identity and your account, and then you make a deposit and off you go.
That's fantastic. Super simple, easy, and the platform itself, visually and for a user. I was saying a platform, it's available on your phone and it has a very ease of use for people as well.
Oh, thank you.
So really, you've been in this space for a while now, and what are some of the things that have been the biggest lessons to you?
Yeah, so some of the biggest lessons have been, when I became an entrepreneur in this space, I was like, oh, I'm really going to build, blockchain or crypto-based company. And I thought that I would be focused on the technology. Like the technology was the number one aspect of the business. But that's actually changed. I spend about even our engineers, right? We spend about 80% of our time on regulatory matters and compliance, whether it's, the integration with the KYC for account approval that I just mentioned to you, to me talking to, our regulatory attorneys, or us talking to, the Financial Markets Authority of New Zealand, or, educating banks on why this technology should be integrated into their systems. So that's what I think that I've learned from the most is that while the technology, well, you have to be mindful of the technology, and it's amazing, and I think it's revolutionary. Laws, regulatory regimes haven't, come up to speed to where the technology is, and instead of kind of revolting against it, as you can see on Twitter. You see some of the crypto maximalists on Twitter. Instead of us taking that approach, which is, I can see the reason why they would take their approach, and I've totally been there, but just working with the regulatory bodies and in the financial institutions, and educating them around it. Although it takes a lot of time and it's frustrating sometimes, it's definitely worth it. So that's what I've learned.
No, that's fantastic, and a lot of insight into the way it's all working. In the years to come, in the future, where are you seeing digital currencies having the most impact, and where do you see Stronghold going in that same time frame?
All right, so I think the launch of Stronghold USU is very important, and I think more and more, blockchain is going to be embedded in our everyday life, but we're just not going to notice it. So right now, all we have to do is basically connect a debit card to our Stronghold USD, and you'd be able to pay for a cup of coffee with USD on the blockchain. I think we're going to see more and more of that for mass market adoption, and it's going to be able to allow people to buy things that they never had access to before in other countries that where they're underserved. Mainly, we're going to see more and more underserved communities being served with technology such as this. So hopefully it's going to make a really big impact on the last mile.
Oh, absolutely. And then what really keeps you motivated in this space? Because it's hard. It has a lot of challenges. It's got some ups and downs. What's really the underlying force that keeps you so motivated?
That's a great question. There are definitely a lot of bumps in this ecosystem. You know what? That's a really good question. I think for me, it's just, I see there's no reason why some things should be so as inefficient as they are. And it's just amazing that you can, make things cheaper, faster, more secure. And I think that, bringing that to market is going to make such a huge difference in some people's lives, and that's really, really what motivates me. I mean, we're doing things and we're breaking barriers, and we're doing things that no one has ever done before, and it's very it's very hard, but at the same time, it's very rewarding.
It's such an exciting time to be involved in something like this, because it offers a lot of opportunity for different people, and it's not just this one thing. It has so many different little pathways that it can contribute to the greater good.
That's right.
And I love how it's funny how different societies and countries are reacting to the similar technology and the different uses we see of it.
It's true. A lot of people are reacting differently to places to it. So there are some people or some countries that are opening it with welcoming it with open arms, and others that are a bit shy to get started. But I feel like now they're starting to become a pattern of use cases, although they are different in their niche, but it is mostly to exchange value, right? You need some type of way to change value, or some type of contract, if you would, to exchange value. And I'm, at a very macro level, I see that's kind of what's happening, because supply chain, right? That's how keeping up, and you're keeping up with the value of your supply, right? And that supply has value. And then with transferring and remittance of money, again, transfer value. Real estate, smart contracts and escrow, transfer value. I think I'm definitely seeing a macro pattern emerge, and it seems like that's the case. And we've seen everything. We've seen goat coin where people, put their livestock on the blockchain. And we've seen bean coin where people put their crops of beans on the blockchain. But again, see, it's like just, keeping track of, so you can transfer that type of value. So it's been really interesting to see the use cases come out of the woodwork. Very cool stuff.
Absolutely. Well, Tammy, thank you so much for joining us here today on Future Tech Podcast and sharing your story, your insight, and this fantastic product that you've built with us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
That is Tammy Camp. She is founder and CEO at Stronghold. This has been Juliette Lamar for Future Tech Podcast. Thank you all so much for tuning in. You can learn more about Stronghold at stronghold.co. They're also on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Check them out. Thank you all again so much. We'll touch you guys next time.